Let's head off to Hawaii and prepare for an alien invasion. Let's get into it. Back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. Today we're going to dive into a film I had never seen, and this review is by request from Bill, who's a subscriber to my channel. And before we get into it, do me a favor, if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. Today we're going to talk about 2012's Battleship. Yes, I've never seen this film. I remember the marketing campaign. I remember when this came out. I remember this was notorious for being a bomb for Universal at the time when this was released. I think it lost about 150 million bucks at the box office, but that does not always make a bad film just because it didn't do well at the box office. So let's explore this a little bit more. Battleship dropped on May 18th of 2012. It's PG-13. It's 2 hours and 11 minutes long. And it was directed by Peter Berg. Had a budget of $209 million and it only grossed in America 65, and worldwide it grossed 303 total. So you can see how it lost some bucks. In this film, we got Taylor Kitsch as Lieutenant Alex Hopper. We have his brother is played by Alexander Skarsgård. He plays Commander Stone Hopper. We have Liam Neeson in here as Admiral Shane. And we have Brooklyn Decker playing his daughter Sam, who is intimately involved with Taylor Kitsch's character Alex. And then Rihanna is also in this film. And I remember they made a big deal about this, although it didn't obviously help the box office. But let's dive into this. When at the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Alex and his brother. And Alex is living on his brother's couch in Hawaii. And he's basically running a directionless life. He's having the tough go of it. He's getting himself into trouble. He doesn't have a steady job. And one night he gets arrested for this cockamamie scheme that he pulled to try to win over Sam at the bar. And his brother gives him the ultimatum that either joins the Navy and follows him, or he's going to have to leave the house, something along those lines. So next thing we know, Alex is in the Navy, pissing off his superiors left and right, but he's heavily involved with Sam, and he wants to ask her father to marry her, which he chickens out. And right in the midst of all this, they're about to go out into the ocean for an international war games, and the main ally that's involved is Japan. And they go out to do these war games, and all of a sudden, at the same time, these scientists are doing this experiment where they're shooting messages in outer space. Well, aliens respond to that, and they come down to Earth, surround the Hawaiian Islands and some of the warships, one of which Alex and his brother are on, two of the ships. And so the rest of the fleet can't come and help them, and they start destroying shit and preparing to take over the world. And then we have battle after battle, and our humans trying to outsmart the aliens, and it all culminates in one final battle on the Hawaiian Islands, and the humans defeat the aliens, and we have a happy ending. And that's pretty much Battleship. Now, I remember when this came out, Transformers had already been around. Michael Bay's Transformers films were already a couple deep on theirs. And I like some of the Transformers films, but this looks just, to me, from the trailers back then, the reason I didn't see it, plus, it was because it looked a lot like a Transformers film. And it's like, well, what the hell's going on here? You're basing this movie off a game called Battleship, which I'd played many times in my life, and I still do it with my son from time to time. But I'm like, how is this going to work on a board game? I just smelled of desperation. I mean, I thought some of the Transformers movies were okay. My son loves them. And those are based off of toys, but it's like, what are we doing here? So I kind of ignored it, even though I like Peter Berg as a filmmaker. He's made films that I really, really enjoy. But I kind of ignored it at the time. So I hadn't even thought about this movie in a while until Bill recommended me checking it out and reviewing it. So I sat down and watched it last night on Amazon Prime for free on their side app that has commercials kind of like Tubi. They don't give you too many commercials. It's like 2 commercials per break, so it's not too bad. So I sat down and watched this for the first time last night. And overall, it's not a bad film. My son didn't watch it with me, but he'd probably like it. This is definitely geared towards young boys or teenagers, for sure. The cast is good here. Taylor Kitsch, I like him as an actor. I loved him earlier this year on The Terminal List with Chris Pratt. He was great there. I like him as an actor. Alexander Skarsgård's good here as his brother. Liam Neeson's good, although he's not in the movie a whole lot. Brooklyn Decker is okay. And everybody else around the characters in the supporting roles is fine. They actually had real veterans in the film as well. The action scenes are well handled by Berg. I mean, he's done many action films over the years, and this is no different. Some of the special effects look pretty damn good. Some of the special effects haven't aged well. Now, this movie was made back in 2012, so I could forgive it for that. If I had seen it back then, I probably would have liked this film more. Not that I disliked it, but I'll give my rating in a minute. The USS Missouri, which in the film they take out at the end, is the last battleship available to them to take out to fight the aliens. They actually did take it out of port for one day so they could film on it. I thought that was pretty cool. It's based on the Milton Bradley board game, as we all know. Now, board game has been around since 1931. I found that pretty cool. I wasn't aware it was around that long. I knew it was around when I was a kid, but I didn't know it was around that long. Casting Rihanna in this film was actually Peter Berg's idea, and he got his way, and they hired her for it. She's okay here. She's not the greatest. She's okay. She's not awful, but she's okay here. Besides some of the action scenes, the alien design is pretty cool. I mean, this movie's definitely a mishmash of Independence Day and Transformers when you boil it down. I hate to compare it to other films, but you can't help it because some of the designs here look like they're right out of Transformers, kind of. But again, there's some cool action scenes here. I think the movie's too long. Even though it's only 2 hours and 11 minutes and it's short compared to the Transformers films, I still think they could have cut this down by 15 minutes. I just don't think there was enough here to justify 2 hours and 11 minutes, but for some reason, the Hollywood studios think every summer blockbuster has to be over 2 hours long. And I just didn't think there was enough here to justify that. Again, I did appreciate, there was one scene that I really did appreciate that called back to the board games. I was like, how are they going to do this besides their battleships in the film? There's a scene where they're trying to figure out how to pinpoint where the alien ship is by using the displacement of the waves in the water. And the way the alien ship's moving is almost just like out of the board game when you're playing it. I appreciated that callback to the game, and I got it as soon as I saw them doing it. It popped right in my head what they were doing, setting that up. And I thought they integrated it into the movie in a very organic way for the story they were trying to tell. Is the story a complicated one? No, it's basically battleships against aliens. And if that's all you're looking for, you're going to have a good enough time with this. It doesn't ask you to think too much about it, which is fine. Most summer blockbusters don't. You're just there for the popcorn and enjoy yourself and look at the spectacle. If I'd seen this back then, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. I didn't hate it. I had a good enough time with it. But at the end of the day, I would give Battleship a 6.5 out of 10. It's a very well-made, big summer blockbuster. But at the end of the day, I didn't think it was nothing special. Especially for what I've seen since then and with all the Transformers films. So it's kind of, in that middle of the road kind of movie. But at the end of the day, I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10 for Battleship. If you've ever seen this film, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I would appreciate that. I'll be back soon for a review for The Edge, Point Blank, and many other films coming up. But until next time, bye.